my name is Bethany, and I made $300 donating blood plasma my very first month.
How about that for a side hustle? Selling your body to science. What got you into this? Like, what gave you the idea to go and try this?
Honestly, it was through necessity. So the very first time I started donating my plasma was when I was a freshman in college. And I lived in a town where there were 6 colleges. It was a massive college town, Spokane, Washington, a lot of kids, not a lot of jobs. And I just needed a way to pay my rent. And so the word going around campus was that you could get money for going into this place if you were healthy and between the ages of 18 and 69, you were able to donate your plasma. And so I started giving plasma, and that is what paid my rent my very first year of college. And my rent was $240 a month, and I earned $240 from donating. So it worked out perfectly.
That's awesome. To like completely erase your rent expense with this. So what is it? Like it's a little more involved than just going in and donating blood. Like if they have the blood drive truck that parks outside your office and you can go do that on your lunch break. This seems like a little more intense.
Yes. So the process is incredibly similar to donating blood. So if you've donated blood before, you didn't have much of a problem with it, then you might not have as much of a problem with donating plasma. I have to say it's not for everyone though. It's not something that everyone loves to do. And if you struggle with, seeing blood or things like that, then this might not be the best fit for you. But it is a little bit more time intensive. It takes about 45 minutes just for the plasma donation alone. There's also the processing and waiting in line and things like that. So I would say the very first time you go, it's about 3 hours. You have to go through like a physical. You have to go make sure that you meet all of their requirements, that you're healthy, that your blood passes the inspections that it takes. And then from then on out, you can expect about 45 minutes to an hour and a half for each session. And you go in, and with donating plasma, they hook you up to this machine, and it runs something called plasmapheresis, which is a really big word for saying that they take whole blood and they separate it into plasma, red blood cells, and platelets, and they keep the plasma, and then they give you back your red blood cells through the same needle. Plasma is made mostly of water and some proteins, and it helps with certain diseases like immune deficiency, genetic emphysema, hemophilia, rabies, or even tetanus. And so that's why people need it, is because it can't be reproduced in any other way. It can only be found in the body. And so it takes your plasma out, and then because that's mostly water, they have to give you saline to refresh and to hydrate you again.
So you're hooked up to this thing. I'm picturing kind of like, it's like a dialysis machine. They are recycling the stuff and taking out the part that they want, that is valuable, that is saving lives, and then giving you back the stuff that you don't need. Is there a health risk in doing that? Like, why? I don't know. Like, if other people need it, do you need it, like, to stay inside of you?
So your body actually reproduces what it takes very, very quickly. So it's very different than donating whole blood, just because they're not taking your red blood cells. It's mostly water and some proteins, and those can be reproduced in your body very, very quickly. And so whole blood you can only give once every, is it like 3 months or something? There's a significant period of time.
Right, because you got to like replenish the stuff
exactly
that you give away.
So your body can do that. With plasma, you're already getting, you get back this stuff that takes a long time. What is replenishing is that water. And so you just got to kind of rehydrate, and you can give plasma 2 times in a 7-day period. And then you can keep going back every month. So you can give plasma up to 10 times within a month, and it still be completely okay. And again, there can be, just like anything, there can be negative reactions. Your body might not enjoy the needles or the saline that they give you or anything. So there's a ton of disclaimers when it comes to giving your lifeblood. It can be a little...
Yeah, of course. Like, don't take this as medical advice.
Right.
Have you personally seen any adverse side effects? Are you feeling like more tired, or I don't know, like what could happen?
I really feel like your body gets used to it. If you're in general good health, then this is a great fit for you. For me, when I was in college, I was giving frequently. I did have a negative encounter my very last time I gave as a freshman. And so the person who was hooking me up to the needle infiltrated my vein, which basically means like if this is my vein, the needle's supposed to go right about here, and they went all the way through
Ooh.
my vein. And so like it's not supposed to do that. That's not the best thing in the world. And so what ended up happening was they had to still give me back my red blood cells. So they had to move to the other side where my veins were smaller, and they
Okay.
ended up infiltrating that side as well.
Oh, geez.
So both sides will infiltrate it at the same time. So they ended up just having to slowly find another vein, slowly give back my red blood cells. And basically I just couldn't give for a while. And then I had massive bruises on
Yeah, I
both
believe
sides
it.
of my arm because it was bleeding. But ultimately it wasn't something that was painful for me. It wasn't something that it was a consequence.
I know I had a similar thing. One of the recent times that I gave blood, and it was just like, my whole arm, or like, from the bicep to, past the elbow was like all, super yellow bruised. It was kind of gross looking,
Yes. Yeah.
but not life threatening.
Yeah.
Was it just a matter of Googling like donate plasma nearby to find the different centers that do this?
That was exactly what I did. And I think those are the exact words that I Googled.
Okay.
Donating plasma near me.
Is there a bidding war or a price comparison between the two? Like, oh, if I go over here, they'll pay me a little bit more. Like, or is it just kind of a standardized, this is how much you're going to get?
Sometimes there can be. So if there are there's lots of different places that, just like we give blood at a lot of different places, we have American Red Cross or we have other donating centers. There's lots of different plasma donation companies that you can go to. And so sometimes I would say do your research. If there are multiple companies bidding out with each other, call ahead of time and see what their prices are that month. So for me, I was able to call ahead of time and they give you a price list of how many times. So if you're a first donator, you will get more money than the times you go back. So the very first 4 times you go, you will be getting more money as an incentive to keep coming back. And so that little extra money really helps in your first month. Also, fun fact, you have to successfully donate twice in order for your plasma to be used. So that's another incentive of why they pay you more to come back your very first 4 times. So the one that I was going to, they gave, I believe it was 50-50 your first 2 times, and then it jumped up to 75-75 for the first 4 times you went in.
Okay,
And then if you,
$50 the first time, $50 the second
Mhm,
time, and then
yes,
75 number 3 and 4.
yes. And
Okay.
so even that was a nice chunk of money. Whereas if I was a returning donor, you have to work your way up. So every time you go in, you're making a little bit more to incentivize you to keep going back and to keep giving.
I gotcha. Are you doing this on your lunch break? You just happen to have a flexible schedule? Like, logistics wise, what does that look like?
So I have a flexible schedule, thankfully. I work from home, so I was able to. Now, for me, it was a little bit more difficult because the closest center to me was an hour away. So it kind of took an extra time for me to go. I mainly wanted to go through the process so that I could recommend it to other people.
Okay.
Because that's one of the biggest questions that I get every single month is how do I make more money? What's a good way for me to make money? And so just like you over at the Side Hustle Show, like I know you're often just trying to find extra ways to make money. And so that's one of the reasons I went to do it is so I could know the details. If I recommended it to someone, just say, hey, look, straight up, these are all the weird things that could go wrong, but this could also work for your schedule if you have these times to do it.
Yeah, especially if you live nearby.
There was a person that I talked to that she had one next door to her. I also think for somebody who's in college, this is an excellent way for them to make some extra money. It really, really worked for me. And for people who have that flexibility, it works out well. It'd be a little bit more difficult. I mean, it's possible to do it on lunch break, but I also think it depends on how chill your boss is about you taking longer lunches.
Yes.
So it could
Do
be
they mind if you're like chowing a sandwich or eating some noodles or something
you
like on
can't
the table?
eat. You can't
Okay.
eat there. You have to eat like within the 2 hours before you come in, but you're not allowed to eat while you're in there. Also, I don't know if you would want to. Like
Yeah.
you're watching this, you might lose your appetite really quickly.
Okay. And expect it to take longer the first time because you got to go through the physical and kind of all this onboarding paperwork type of stuff.
Exactly. The first time is kind of lame. Like I was getting frustrated my first time, but it really is, it's a means to an end, because then you're able to go, once you get on the schedule, it's a little bit easier. You're able to make your appointments. It sometimes goes a lot quicker, but I mean, there's always those times you never know if there's a ton of people who are struggling or having difficulties or not drinking their water. So it takes a lot longer, that your wait time also might be affected.
Gotcha. Do you have a sense of what the 250, $300 a month affords you? Or you mentioned in college, hey, that covered my rent. How about later in life?
I think it's been really wonderful because for us, it looked like some extra going out, or it looked like us being able to save for a trip or to be able to put money away for Christmas or things like that. I mean, $300 is a really nice little padding when it comes to some of these things that we do cash envelopes and we do a lot of cash. And so for some of those months that I make $300, we don't even have to take out money for groceries that month. So we're able to put that money towards something else, put it towards, people paying down debt or people who are looking to take that vacation with their family. It's just a little bit more every month. That's really helped us just live a little bit more, just a little bit more comfortably.
Sure. No, there's nothing. I don't want to make light of that at all. I mean, $300 is $300, and I like how you framed it. Like, hey, sometimes that means free groceries, and
Yeah.
kind of structure it as a side hustle snowball, right? Instead of a debt snowball, it's like, hey,
Hmm.
looking at my expenses, like these annoying little line items, like what can I erase this month? Maybe it's my
Yeah.
cell phone bill, maybe it's my car insurance, maybe it's the gym membership, whatever it is, and saying, look, I made that free thanks to this side hustle.
Well, and it's also been fun. My husband and I love eating out. That's something that we do a lot. Or like for me, if I'm working all day long and I just don't want to make dinner, it's a few extra times that I was like, hey, let me treat you. Let's go out. We're going to be fancy. We're going to have a date night. And I have this extra money that we can do it with.
Yeah.
It's like that freedom. It's that permission to be able to go do something that we might not be able to do all the time because we, again, love eating out. So we have to budget ourselves when it comes to that, or else we'd be all over the place.
Yes. Well, Bethany, very much appreciate you joining me, sharing the inside scoop on the plasma donation side hustle. Check it out at themoneymillhouse.com for some more interesting conversations about money, and love how you're playing journalist in testing this stuff out yourself. That's at themoneymillhouse.com. What do you think of the plasma donation side hustle? Did Bethany convince you to give it a shot? Let me know what you think in the comments below this video, and make sure to subscribe for more money-making ideas.